right, so Kyle, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, I'm Kyle.
And Kyle, where are you from? What do you do? What's your deal?
So I'm from Texas, but I am living in New York with my fiance, Joe. I am a nurse as my profession. Currently not working as a nurse, but I'll be starting that soon. And I'm vegan for life.
Very nice. And Kyle, how long have you been vegan?
I've been vegan about 10 months or so, pushing 11.
What was, for you, the catalyst that sent you into the world of veganism?
So you guys, the Peas of Happiness, Josh and Sandra, have been one of my biggest inspirations. And through them, I've just done a lot of independent research and been solidly vegan.
I like that, solidly vegan. There's no wishy-washy flexitarian about this.
Ugh, that's bothersome.
The word flexitarian, like, sends cringes. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
What is your favorite fruit, first and foremost?
I would have to say bananas. They are very versatile and delicious. Bananas for life.
Bananas are life. Um, Kyle, what is your favorite vegan meal to make and to eat?
So I kind of just I like throwing a lot of fresh produce together. If it can center around sweet potatoes in a savory way, basically anything from there, So I like to add peppers and onions and tomato and corn and beans and rice and, so long as there's the sweet potato, which are savory, not sweet, I'm good to go. I could eat sweet potato by itself, like 2 or 3, and that's a great meal. They go a long way.
That is very true.
We should thank you, potatoes.
So, Kyle, in the 10 months that you've been vegan, will you please share with us your proudest vegan moment?
So I would have to say the Earthlings experience in San Antonio, right outside of the Alamo, that I did with you and Josh and a guy named Dominic. It was very profound, just seeing the up close and personal interactions between, the vegan activists and the non-vegan public. The onlookers, the horse-drawn carriages, and staring them in the eye. And I was really proud of myself. I was really driven by that, Andy. It really inspired me to continue to do things like that. I haven't done that direct action since, but I do plan on it. I do plan on doing that as often as possible once things are a little bit more in order and we have the time to organize. I really like being out there. If I could spend a whole day out there, I definitely would. Maybe take a break to eat and drink, but just go and get right back at it.
For sure. It's easy to get caught up, especially when you're out doing what you believe is right. And well, you were there. We were there like 3 hours longer than we meant to. It totally happens.
And they did pay attention to it. People did stop and ask, and we passed out a lot of material, and I would say there was some efficacy in that, so it's a good thing.
And of course, we've all had our not so proud vegan moments. Can you share with us maybe your not so proud vegan, one of your not so proud vegan moments with us?
So before I got really good at reading ingredients, it was hard to know what exactly to look for. I bought something, actually I had bought some curry, what is it? It's not the powder, but it was like the not paste, I don't know, it was curry something. And I bought it because I thought it was vegan, and I went home and I read the ingredients after making a meal, and there was egg in it. And I was so upset about it. and of course, these little blips here and there just push me to focus that much more. Even if I think it's vegan, I'm like, no, I'm going to read the ingredients 16 more times just to make sure. And then, of course, there's the way that milk worms its way inside of everything as whey or as casein, or, the natural flavors even can sometimes contain God only knows what. So, I've definitely gotten more because of the little mistakes that, I've made here and there. But, everything's a learning experience, so...
we did the same thing at a vegan market, buying almond cheese that contained casein.
No.
And thinking, like, but it's in the vegan section, and picking it up. And, yeah, so now even if it's marked vegan, sometimes I'm like, are you lying to me?
Exactly. I don't even trust the vegan label anymore.
Certified vegan, we'll see about that. Would you mind discussing your food plan with us a little bit? Because I know that there are so many vegans out there that eat differently. There are just as many ways to, eat cruelty-free as there are to, eat in a non-vegan way. So what is your personal kind of, meal plan for what you guys do at home?
So when we first made the transition, we did focus a lot more on, like, the processed foods. We loved Gardein, and I still do, but, when money is tight, it's more of a luxury than a necessity. So we've kind of shifted more away from the processed things, and we're focusing on more whole foods, real produce and real food, as I like to call it. So a lot of what we eat, we do like rice and pasta, not all the time, of course, but even just straight up vegetables, only, we'll do a lot of that. So I've kind of been focusing more on salads too. When I first became vegan, I was like, salads aren't really my thing, and it's not necessary to be vegan. However, I'm finding that, the more I eat raw, I really love salads. So we we eat a lot of broccoli, we eat a lot of kale and spinach and romaine lettuce. Tomatoes and onions go on and in everything, peppers, rice, sweet potatoes, russet potatoes, potatoes forever and in everything all the time. For breakfast, I usually like to have toast. I like to have toast, but I'll also eat like 2 or 3 bananas and some cuties and whatever fruit we might have, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries. If we have the means to make a smoothie, it's been kind of tough lately, but I'm used to having my rice protein or my pea protein powder, and then 2 or 3 bananas, the strawberries, all the berries, the chia seeds. Chia seeds go on and in everything. Salad, cereal, shakes, whatever you want to put it on and in. Oatmeal. Oatmeal is amazing. Basically anything we can get our hands on. It depends on where we're at financially, but rice is cheap, beans are cheap, even if we have to get canned versus organic or whatever, you do what you gotta do. So we like it. We like to keep it really simple, and we kind of just throw things together. I sometimes do follow recipes and can make really awesome things. But I like to just do whatever I feel is right. I know the flavors that I like, so I'll just throw it in and cook it up or eat it raw or both, whatever.
So tell me a little bit about how veganism has affected your social life.
So when I first made the transition, I was the only vegan in the group, and before I had my cruelty-free necklace to parade it around without saying anything, I was really hesitant to bring it up. People don't generally respond well because they think that you're on a pedestal, and it's not like that. We don't see ourselves as above other people or animals. But it was kind of rough. I was met with a lot of resistance around my coworkers and some of my friends. But generally, I'd say I've been pretty lucky because a lot of my, my close friends have really been accepting, and not just accepting, but have taken that extra step of consciousness. And it's been really beautiful to be a part of that. My social life in general is kind of minimal. I've always been a workaholic and always working and trying to pick up. And if I'm not working, I'm tired and I don't feel like doing anything. I do have a lot of conversations with my friends online, so I would say online is probably my social life. But otherwise, I have had people kind of bend the schedule around me or bend the plans around my eating habits, because a lot of the time you eat, you want to eat with your friends and drink or whatever. And I kind of don't really drink all that often anymore. I just don't really have that interest. But, people have been willing to be like, okay, well, where is vegan or where has vegan options? And I'll try it. I want to try it. So, I've been lucky, people have been accepting, but I've also had where do you get your protein and those arguments and discussions. So it's been really interesting. I have lost some friends and had people just kind of lose interest in me and vice versa. It's hard to want to associate with people who just put the blinders on and they just don't want to be told otherwise, even if they know it's probably factual, they're just apathetic. And it's hard for me to have that emotional investment in somebody who's so centered around apathy and egoism, and I'm just not into it anymore. So it's definitely affected my life, but I wouldn't say in a negative way.
And what about your family? How has your experience been with your family?
So I've had a lot of support, a lot of questions, a lot of resistance. I've had some painful conversations and, some hurtful things have been said. And I know that, my family, they have good intentions. They love me and of course I love them and we don't hold that against each other. But it has been difficult in that, watching them make these choices and trying to say something about it and them almost acknowledge you, but not really. It was really rough at first, but the longer things go on and the more, of an influence we make, we're consistent with our values and they can't refute that. There has been some noticeable changes. We have gotten more support and, there has been increased levels of consciousness, and I have to give credit where credit is due. People have been, and my family has told me, that we are that positive influence that has helped them make these conscious decisions. My maternal side of the family is a little bit more into it and trying to make the transition more steadily. The paternal side is a little bit more tricky. There are no vegetarians or vegans in that side of the family at all. So we're kind of the pioneers in the family, but at the same time, while there has been resistance, there's also been a lot of room for growth and people have taken that step to acknowledge what we're doing and to try to be more conscious in their own life. So it's been really interesting.
Your transition into veganism, what would you say was the most influential material for you? I know that so many people will say, oh, Earthlings made me vegan, or, oh, Gary Yourofsky made me vegan. What for you, what was the most influential material that was presented to you that helped you along this journey?
So, aside from you guys and the Piece of Happiness, the influence, I got into Bite Size Vegan, I think through you actually. And watching Bite Size Vegan, from the very first video and steadily working my way up chronologically, that's been a huge impact for me. It's been a very prevalent part of my life, and just learning all these things that I hadn't even considered. God, there's so many things, but it's played a huge role in my own research and everything. Emily provides all of the resources that she uses. It's not just videos with nothing to back them up. She has everything listed. She's very credible. And that leaves a lot of room for you to do independent research. And that's what I've done. Anytime I think of something, I'm like, oh, well, is that vegan? I'm more inclined now because of her and, you guys to look it up on my own. And, so Bite Size Vegan and also Forks Over Knives. Because I am a nurse and because a lot of my career is focused around nutrition and treatment, Forks Over Knives put a lot of things in perspective as far as the health aspect. And I've definitely adopted more of a preventative mindset, as opposed to a treatment mindset, doling out these pills and things that I don't necessarily agree with because they could have been prevented. and even treated today, you know, still with, you know, if they had a better diet and things, you know, it would be a lot easier to manage the diabetes, the high cholesterol, the high blood pressure. So Forks Over Knives has also been a huge inspiration to me on that.
It sounds like there's kind of a lot of bleed over into your field, into the nursing field as well for you.
Right. Yeah, there definitely is.
Okay, so now on to some of the really important questions. What's your favorite vegan cheese?
Okay, so that's a tricky one. I really wanted to try Miyoko's because I heard such raving reviews on it, and so I did finally try Miyoko's through you, actually. It was the cheese spread, and that was delicious. So Miyoko's is great. Follow Your Heart has really good options. You know, I made a pizza with it. I don't really feel the need to eat cheese, but if that need does come up, Follow Your Heart is definitely one that I would rather fall back on. As far as the worst, again, you know, I have had some good things by Daiya. You know, the mac and cheese was really good, and some of like the slices, you know, I can use some of that. I think it was a provolone. And I would put it like on sandwiches, and that was good. Go Veggie. I haven't had a lot of luck with it. Not in my best interest, I guess. Also, some of them are not vegan, so.
I still personally think that Go Veggie is totally a conspiracy to like turn people off of vegan cheese, because exactly, like if you are a vegan trying to get it, half the time you end up accidentally purchasing the one that's actually just lactose free but still contains cow's milk, or it tastes like feet because it's Go Veggie cheese, which just sort of tastes like feet. So
yep.
Yeah, pretty sure that one's a conspiracy. So if you're a brand new vegan, I'm not trying to take down Go Veggie cheese. I'm going to get some kind of hate mail from Go Veggie cheese. Like, why are you spreading slanderous lies about us? Totally just an opinion.
Seen in your vegan cheese, it's not vegan.
Oh. Are any of your non-human companions vegan?
So I do have some kitty life in my house, and they do eat plant-based food. The cats are, you know, a little bit more tricky because there's more things to look out for. You know, as a pet owner, as a non-human animal companion, person in responsibility, I want the best for my animals. You know, I want them to eat healthy. I want them to be healthy. I want to make sure they're getting the nutrition that they need. So the cats, you know, can be a little bit tricky, but I have been lucky and I've had no issues. Actually, they've been very energetic, you know, almost like they've reverted back to being kittens, and it's really entertaining to watch. My puppy, who is almost 2, he eats plant-based. You know, he eats a lot of vegan, dog-friendly scraps that we give him. You know, he loves blueberries, he loves apple, he loves banana, he loves sweet potato. He'll eat basically anything. We do give him kibble, of course, as his main consumption, but that is going to be changing soon. Once we have everything a little bit more stable, I'm going to start making, you know, everything whole foods. I think he'll be more motivated to eat those as well. He does eat his food with no problem, but sometimes I have to sit him down and be like, go ahead, eat your food. But he has the Natural Balance vegan formula. And then for the cats, we have the Ysong, whatever it is, vegan formula. We do keep the meat base for the cats just in case. You know, I think we have 1 or 2 cans, but haven't had any need to bust it out. They've been doing fine. You know, I'm always watching their their elimination habits. And there has been no obstruction, you know, no need for concern. So they've been doing great.
What part of, obviously, you know, you transitioned into veganism. You've been vegan for a while now. Just like any of us, you've seen the footage. You've looked into some of the more ethical reasons why people go vegan. What has been the most upsetting or profound thing that you've learned about the way that animals interact with our human society, or rather, I should say, the way that human society interacts with animals?
So, there's a lot of obvious answers for that. Just the fact that people even do these horrible things to animals is, the number one upsetter. But, also the fact that you can bring to light these things and people just blatantly refuse to acknowledge them. And even if they do acknowledge them, they state their apathy. And I think the apathy is what gets me the most, And I know that not everybody's going to care about the animals, and I know not everybody's going to see them as equals or as deserving of equal rights. And that is very upsetting. But, the people that are hypocrites and will say, I love animals, but I'm just going to torture them sometimes for my enjoyment and not acknowledge that, that's upsetting to me. I've always kind of had like a bird's eye view of humanity and had this, kind of innate bitterness, I guess, just because people can be so ignorant, but choosing to be ignorant. But being vegan kind of solidified that, just seeing how humanity is so destructive, and can see these beautiful creatures as somehow deserving of the horrible things we put them through. There's no need for it. If there was a need, that would be one thing. Not really, but, there isn't. Humans don't need animals to survive. There's no arguing against that. Yeah, eating animals brought us to where we are, but we're here now and we don't need it anymore. But it's hard to deal with, just humanity's choosing ignorance and choosing apathy.
I think a lot of vegans will share that sentiment with you. It's often our interaction with the non-vegan world that creates the most friction for being vegan at all.
Right.
So, yeah, I completely understand that. Oh, my God. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here with me today. You guys will probably never realize this on the other end of this video, but Kyle had to do this interview with me twice because our internet connection thing failed and our video failed to record. So thank you so much for being so patient and awesome and letting me ask you all of these weird questions about your ethics and your veganism. We love you very much. Thank you for being here with us.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun. Follow the Piece of Happiness. They are wonderful for educational resources and for the ethical side of veganism. And go vegan and stay vegan.
I love it. Thank you, Kyle.
No problem.
Do that again, Joe, so Josh can see if he wasn't looking.
He wasn't.
I like that a lot.
He was texting.
What again?